Okay, so I ain't gonna beat around the bush. This video is kind of a lot of sorry, sad, bad news, whatever you want to call it. I know people get outraged when I title a video bad news for something. I mean, isn't bad news subjective? Like, one person bad news, like, if it's to me bad news, like, aren't I allowed to call it a bad news for X series, whatever? But yeah, bad news all around for this one, between two pieces of news for the Promised Neverland and one piece of news for the Demon Slayer manga. Yeah, in these times, it's like, whenever there's something that is not like, yay, something to jump out of your chair about, it's even more of a down, like, wow. But let's talk about it.
I say we gonna do what we do, no matter how you move, make your move. That's how it be though.
Okay, people, so let's get the obvious one out the way, because I'm sure so many people are like, oh, I bet I know one of them. The Promised Neverland anime. Very, very shitty situation. Again, with everything, what I keep on covering about this one being delayed, that one being delayed. The Promised Neverland anime season 2, which already, before all of this shit happened with, you know, all these delays and everything, Promised Neverland 2, season 2, felt like it was like, whoa, out in the distance, because if I'm not mistaken, we had season 1 of the anime, it was like, what, January 2019? And season 2 was confirmed for October of 2020. So I was like, a year and 8 months, a year and some change. Maybe my math is a little off or whatever, but that was a long ways off. So I was kind of like, what the hell? But it was like, okay, we're getting there. We're already in April, you know, a few months more, we can hack it. And The Promised Neverland is an awesome series, so it'll be worth the wait. But now, due to the things going on in the world, it has been further delayed now from October of 2020 to potentially January of 2021. So it's been thrown out a few more months, another season off, and it sucks in a lot of different ways. I mean, the best thing I could look at the positive side of it is, hey, they're going to have more time, because from my understanding, a lot of these anime studios are continuing moving forward with production on things. They're just doing it like they're allowing the animators to stay at home and work on it from their tablets at home and stuff like that. So there's a possibility that we could get even better art and better animation from people having all this extra time. Who knows, maybe they could even make more episodes if, you know what, the next piece of news is confirmed. We might have the most insane amount of episodes and a really incredible adaptation, but again, that just depends. But yeah, The Promised Neverland being pushed from October 2020 to January 2021 for season 2. Very, very shitty, because the first season was only 12 episodes, and don't get me wrong, those were an incredible 12 episodes. I remember when I read that stuff in the manga, I was like, this is exactly where season 1 is going to stop. Season 2, I'm really, really interested to see how the fandom reacts to season 2, to be honest with you, because it's a radical, in my opinion, a radical departure from what season 1 did. It feels as though The Promised Neverland, when it was initially in the conceptual stage, was probably only thought of, and again, I could be totally wrong, but for me, probably only thought of to last up until that point of them escaping the Gracefield, you know, orphanage. And since then, it's like the series feels like it's totally different from where I stopped reading. I want to say I stopped reading in like the 70s or 80s, and since then it's been an incredible amount of chapters and stuff like that. A lot of shit has gone down, but I'm really interested to see what people think of when they see The Promised Neverland season 2 and where the story goes and the atmosphere and all of that jazz, the world building, because it's a very, very different story moving forward. But now that we got that one out the way, we got more news, because it has been confirmed, and we'll read the article in a second. In fact, let's go back. Let's read the announcement for The Promised Neverland anime season 2 delay real quick. The Promised Neverland season 2 and season 1 reruns have been postponed due to COVID-19. Anybody that's been watching my videos know that's how I say it, so that we don't get caught up in the system. Season 2 will be moved from October 2020 to January 2021, and the season 1 rerun will be moved from July 9th to October 2020. So they're just kind of like pushing things over by roughly a season or so. Again, shitty situation. But going back to the manga stuff, apparently The Promised Neverland has been confirmed that it's about to end. And I don't want to exactly jump and put words in you know, people's mouths and shit, so let's read exactly, because it's not only The Promised Neverland, but also one that is really, really, like, without question, very expected, which I want to say the latest chapter was the last chapter. Maybe I'm off or whatever. But also, Demon Slayer has been confirmed that it is ending as well, which again, we already knew it was on the finale from what everybody's been saying and shit like that. Will Demon Slayer have a sequel series? That remains to be seen, because no matter what, there's always story that can be told, whether it's good or bad. and the way Demon Slayer is doing sales-wise and shit like that, I would not be surprised in the slightest if Demon Slayer gets a sequel series. Again, whatever they decide to do with it, if they choose to. It's like, there's too much money. But let's read this real quick so you guys know exactly what was said. Because there was a little bit of an announcement of like rankings, I want to say, and the press release said, newbies except Mashley get stacked in the bottom. Meanwhile, the rest keeps usual positions. Next week, we'll have a group cover, and Kimetsu will get lead color page. Kawada, author of Hinomaru Zumo, will be back with a new one-shot, and also Kimetsu and Promised Neverland announced their climaxes, which that could be a variety of different things. I want to say the Promised Neverland years ago, like maybe 2 years ago now, announced that it was in its climax. So I don't know exactly if they mean that it's 100% it's done, this is like the last chapter or two, or maybe they're announcing like there's 5 more chapters, that type of deal. Demon Slayer, from everything again that I've been hearing, I wouldn't be surprised if there's like 1 or 2 chapters left of it. If it's getting a lead color page next week, that might be the actual finale of it. So we just gotta wait and see. But yeah, it seems as though the Promised Neverland manga and the Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba manga are both ending as well, and that's going to be really interesting because those are 2 incredible, enormous, especially Demon Slayer. Like Promised Neverland is big, Demon Slayer is humongous. Those are powerhouses. Those are pillars of Jump right now. Don't get me wrong, My Hero Academia is doing great manga sales wise. It's like what, 40 million deep, I want to say, something like that. And don't get me wrong, One Piece does great. There's a few different series, Haikyuu, that do great manga sales wise, but the Demon Slayer manga, with all the records it's been breaking, the amount of money that it's been bringing in, it's shocking that they're allowing this to end business wise. Story wise, totally get it. The author, this is where he probably even wanted to end it a little bit earlier, but this is where he wants to end it. It's just, it's crazy. Like, I want to see what the impact is going to be from this, because they got a few new series coming in. I don't see them right now blowing up or exploding immediately like Nash Lee. Like, I've heard some good things about it. I don't see it taking off immediately. Likewise with the one series Undead Unluck. It's dope from what I read. I read like the first 5 or so chapters, but again, I don't see it flying off the shelves either, especially as proper replacements for juggernauts like Demon Slayer and the Promised Neverland. And it looks like they're trying to milk Demon Slayer for everything they possibly can, because there was also an announcement of what they're doing with the manga volumes, which usually manga volumes are released like about a couple months apart. Like there'll be like a volume in January, and then maybe like March or April, and so on and so forth. And even with series like One Piece, it's like 1 or 2 volumes a year. But what they're doing with Demon Slayer looks as though if they are deciding no spin-off, no sequel, this is it for it, they are trying to cash out as quickly as possible. Because they announced, in addition of volume 20, 21, 22, and 23, they'll have limited edition releases. 4 volumes in a row will be entitled to limited edition releases, but also they will be released back to back, month to month. So pretty much for those 4 months straight, there will be a Kimetsu no Yaiba volume dropping, which it's freaking insane. Curious what you guys think about all this news. For starters, how do you feel about the Promised Neverland being pushed even further from October 2020 to January 2021? Again, it's because of the situation, so I ain't mad at it. I mean, I was disappointed before all this happened of like, wow, why so far out, a year and a half or more out from the season 1 release, especially considering season 1 was only 12 episodes. But your thoughts on that being delayed? To me, it's just like, damn, sad, but I'd rather the animators and everybody, the production committee be safe from the catastrophe going on right now. Also, how do you feel about Demon Slayer and the Promised Neverland announcing they're in their climaxes? Again, the Promised Neverland, both of them, to be honest with you, I feel as though they've been announced that they were in their climaxes, especially though the Promised Neverland. It's been like 2 years. I factually have videos up on the channel from like 2 years ago of me saying, yeah, Promised Neverland says it's ending real soon, it's in the climax. So unless the Promised Neverland is ending within the next couple weeks, it's kind of like, okay, you said this before, let's see if it actually happens. Not that I want it to end, because those are both 2 awesome manga and I love the Promised Neverland. Guess we just gotta wait and see. But that is all I have for this one. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you liked anything I had to say or enjoyed the video, drop me a like. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you want more from me, make sure to subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram. Hit that bell to get all notifications. And if you want to follow any of my other social media, links in the description below. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day. And remember the golden rule: anime and manga for life, boy. Have an awesome day. Peace in. And I'm sorry to bring you all this bad news or unfortunate news or just mixed emotions and news, but yeah, I don't create the news, I just report on it. regardless of what, have an awesome one.
Everything good always comes to an end. If you stab me in my back, we can never make amends. Trying to move to acceptance, hard to accept it. Mistakes like mirrors, gotta reflect it. I don't wanna fucking leave, but I gotta leave. Leave the maybes to the crazies. Maybe one day there I go admitting something in a subtle way. No more copies, leave without a trace.